A charge to keep I have, a God to glorify, a never-dying soul to save, and fit it for the sky. Arm me with jealous care, as in thy sight to live. And, O thy servant, Lord, prepare a strict account to give.
It's time to play ball. Welcome to the podcast with no limits. Whether it be sports, current events, or random thoughts, this is the place to step in and stay a while. Your host is a proud alumnus of Rio Hondo Prep, a former minor league baseball umpire, and a man with strong opinions. Welcome to the Get Home Safe podcast and your host, Matt Hersema.
Hey guys, and welcome to another edition of the Get Home Safe podcast. Excuse me while I clear my throat there. Good morning to everyone out there watching on Facebook Live. We are live on our Facebook page, Get Home Safe podcast. I know it's early, but appreciate everyone for tuning in. I think I got everything correct here on the Facebook Live, connected all the dots and everything. So here we are. Good morning to all. And today is the final Rio Hondo Prep football show of the season. And that is because, unfortunately, Rio Hondo Prep lost on Friday night, 33-20 to Saint Pius x Saint Matthias in a very hard-fought football game. We are going to be joined by head football coach Mark Carson here upcoming. First off, to the fans out there, today is, an opportunity for you guys to, I guess, write in, call in, if you will, to say anything you want really about the season. I have a few thoughts off the bat that I'm going to get to. Also, you can send in an email. You can comment on the Facebook Messenger page here if you like. And if you should so feel inclined, you can also send in a voice message. Call in if you'd like. I'll repeat that a few more times here throughout the morning, I should say. But yeah, you can call in if you like with a voice message, and you can do so if you look at one of the last posts we did on the Facebook page on Get Home Safe podcast Facebook page. You should be able to find the link there. Basically, it's anchor.fm/15 mph/message. So if you can't remember that, just go to the Facebook page and you should be able to click on that and leave your 1 minute limit message. Anyway, here we are. It is the day after the day after. Again, Rio lost a tough game Friday night, 33-20. Very proud of those young men for their effort. And I remember playing back in the day, and hard to believe it's been 18 years. I was talking to my good friend Bill Ritter in the class of 03, and you're 18, most of us anyway, when you graduate. And age-wise, we're 18 again, 36. And basically he summed it up. He said, us playing football was half of our life ago, half a lifetime ago for us. And that's just so odd to think about. It still feels like yesterday when we were playing ball for RHP. And I'll say this, man, it's never easy to walk away from something you love. I've had to do that a few times in my career. And I think it started kind of with RHP football, taking a helmet off for the last time. It's not something anyone wants to do, and it's not easy to do. And I look back at, my final game at Rio. It was at Duarte High School because Rio didn't have an 11-man field yet. and the field was too small dimensions wise. So we played our home games at Doherty. We played at Monrovia, rented out the field. It was a playoff game against those hated Grace Brethren Lancers. And I was injured, not to go down memory lane here, all about me or anything, but I was injured and trying to play in the playoff game. And I remember my final play, we were down right around the 10-yard line, and Bill Ritter's wide open in the end zone. And I was used to throwing the ball outside fades and, out patterns, and, was getting some pressure. And I just overthrew Bill. He made a great move. He was wide open in the end zone, and I threw it clear over his head. And, if I threw it over Bill's head, it was really high because he could jump out of the building. And the ball left my hand, and I was just like, no, this is that. Because we were trying to catch Grace. We were down 2 touchdowns, and that would have put us within 1 with plenty of time left. And that was it. And I went to the sideline. I think Mr. Drain was pretty upset at me. I was really mad at myself, and I never went back in. And I remember I said this on the Facebook Live. I remember standing there on the sideline as the clock was counting down. Grace was just taking knees, and I kind of walked off down the sideline a bit, and I was like, there's no way this is how it ends. And I think a lot of RHP football players have felt that before. The finality of it all, is that the right word? And as the final seconds ticked down, I stepped onto the field, not by much, but not out of bounds, but in bounds. I stepped on because I wanted to be on the field as on the final play of my RHP career. I didn't want it to go. And I remember being in the locker room, and I did not take my pads off for the longest time. Finally, we had to. It's like, I don't want to take these off. And when I saw Friday night, so many great Rio careers come to an end, that's difficult. It's not easy. So I'm not gonna get it too deep here, but like, you go to funerals a lot and you hear people talk about, this is not a time to grieve, this is time to celebrate. And there's some truth in that anytime you're kind of grieving. So it's sad to see some of these guys go, but it's also a reason to celebrate them. It's a reason to celebrate the incredible accomplishments of a senior class that they were the right guys for the job as far as the past 2-3 seasons of RHP football, making a great playoff run, losing to a pretty talented Harupa Hills team in a very close game back in 2019, incredibly close game, having the constant preparation and readiness in 2020. When your season is canceled, postponed, then you end up playing just 3 games. I mean, a lesser men in RHP football would have let the program slip away a little bit in that at that time. And they didn't. And it's a great credit to the class of 2020 as well. Jack Van Cleve, Brandon Davis, just to name a few, what they went through the past few years, and then having their senior seasons shortened. But the class of 2022 has been very special. And I have had the absolute privilege to talk to a few of them here on the podcast. And it's so great to see young men doing something they love, doing something that I used to love. And I could pretty much see anything on TV or movies, even real life situations. I've seen some pretty rough injuries. I've seen, people pass away in person. I've seen pretty gruesome things on movies. I could see almost anything, but one of the hardest things in the world for me to see is Rio Hondo Prep football players, seniors, singing the alma mater for the last time. It is heart-wrenching in a way. But I guess if you think about it, it's not the last time you're going to sing it, but it is the last time you're going to sing it in your uniform. And that being said, I want to welcome the 2022 seniors of Rio Hondo Prep football to a pretty cool club. I would say the best club is RHP football itself, being a football player for Rio, representing, competing, wearing that uniform. But I got to tell you what a pretty great club is as well. And that is a Rio Hondo Prep football alum. And I want to welcome each and every one of those seniors into the alumni. Because now, guys, with all the memories and moments you've given us, now you get to be one of those old men that cheers for kids you've probably never met, that digs out your Letterman jacket a few years after high school to see if it still fits and show up at a big game. You guys now get to carry the torch of being proud members of the RHP alumni. And there's been many blessings, but one of the biggest blessings for me in doing this podcast the past few months, specifically the Rio Hondo Prep football episodes, has been the interaction with alumni, has been the moments where I've been talking with a buddy in Oregon about the big high school game Friday night. And with all the drama in professional sports and even college sports to an extent, I think a lot of us old men, a lot of us alumni, kind of refound that Rio Hondo Prep football passion that wasn't buried by any means, but just kind of sat on the counter, just sitting there waiting for us. I think a lot of us over the years have been like, oh, how's Rio doing? Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, they're in the playoffs. Oh, they won a title. Oh, man, they beat Poly. But I think this year, so many of us invested more time into the success of the program. Our Saturday mornings, our attitude Saturday mornings were determined by what occurred Friday night. And that's a fun place to be. Unfortunately, after games like Campbell Hall or Saint Pius, sometimes those Saturday mornings are kind of a bummer. But again, that's why you play the game. That's why you compete. You compete to see exactly what you're made of, to see what you can accomplish. And I got to tell you, fellas, the class of 2022, you guys represented Rio so well over the past few years. And I would say for most of you, people question, hey, what's a care? What's a care? I would challenge anyone to find a better definition than the class of 2022. To say, those are cares. So many people don't know the answer to that question, but I would just say sometimes you just got to point to who represents that as an example. You know, the cares, it's not a physical mascot. No one's dressed up in a costume. There's nothing like that. The cares are the students of Rio Hondo Prep, the alumni of Rio Hondo Prep, that care, pun intended, they care about things of God. They care about everything they do. So got a few people watching here on Facebook Live. I'm sure we'll have more. It's a little early for everyone. Last week we did the show at 7:45, or was it a few weeks? Anyway, and a little easier for people getting up when coming off a huge win. So I'm sure we'll have more people on here shortly. But for right now, we're going to be joined by head football coach Mark Carson. He's in the waiting room. So let's bring him on for the final time of the season as he connects to audio and such. Mark Carson, good morning, sir. You're on live with the Get Home Safe podcast.
Good morning, Matt. Great to
Oh,
be here. How you doing?
I'm well, sir. Let me just switch over to my phone audio like a rookie that I am. Okay, test. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, loud and clear.
Okay, loud and clear. Excellent. Hey, Mark, good morning. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. You got a bright blue sky behind you, similar to what I do, my view here. How you doing, man? Look, the season came to an end Friday night. You and I actually talked a little before this, but opening statement from the unfortunate loss to Saint Pius in the second round.
Yeah, the journey came to an end, and it was a great journey. But yeah, it came to an end, and it all happened so fast, right? When your season ends, rather than sending out the schedule for the week email, it's a closing statement for the week email to the parents and the kids, and wrapping up, which is bittersweet because it was such a great season. And yeah, guys played again like the Warriors they are, and the game was 2-1. There were plays to be made that few plays go differently, and we think we're right there at the end to try to secure the win, but didn't happen. And so it's tough, right? The sun did rise on Saturday morning, and life does go on, and you say all those cliches, right? And the journey was great, and that's what you want to focus on, but that's kind of what losers say after they lose the game. And so but I think that there is truth to that, where it's in time, these guys and the Rio family will look back on this season and say, wow, what an amazing group. What an amazing accomplishment to even compete in Division 7. What an amazing accomplishment to even just to go back to, week 0 of the season and rolling Poly like we did, just all that, the build up to that, and then the 10-week season that followed, and all the drama that was involved. The win at Charter Oak was just for us, one for the ages. And I think this team, and that when you look at it, it'll go down. Historians will look very kindly on the 2021 Rio Hondo Prep football team.
I couldn't agree more. We've hung 14 banners in the Stiver Center, the old American Savings Pavilion. But you know what? There's games I look up on those banners, and I'm going to say at times, wait, who did we beat that year? In 2012, I know Mission Prep or whatever, but there's going to be times I look at banners. I'm like, wait, who did we win? Who do we beat? Excuse me. But I know that when I look back on 2021, I'll know exactly some of the big wins. The opener against Poly, of course, the huge win at Charter Oak on the road in the playoffs, no less. So that game, that singular moment itself is something that all RHP historians will cherish forever. And Mark, I hated losing. I always have. You do. I remember when people would say the catchphrases. Oh, it's, you guys tried, or people would clap when we lost. I used to hate that. I'm like, it's no clapping. We lost. But as you grow older, you understand that there's an appreciation for effort, and people hurt when they see, the kids hurting as well. Right.
And they want to console you and make you feel better. But really nothing you could really say feels better, makes it feel better. I hate to disappoint people, but it's really just about consoling the guys, and that's what it was like in the locker room. Really just consoling them and lifting them up. Big warm embraces after the game, and that was a lot. That meant a lot, and I saw that with the fans and the parents outside the locker room or even on the field right after the game. So that's really all you can do. We'll have our football banquet where we can kind of reminisce and show the highlight videos and all that. The kids will enjoy that. But yeah, it's hard to lose. And, what do I say about the game, man? It was a few plays go differently. We think we're right there. Our guys, admittedly, were not emotionally, not mentally, but I think physically fatigued from the prior week. When you have really 14, 15 guys playing almost all the snaps in special teams, you're beat up against a physical opponent who's playing 30, 40 guys. And so that's really something that we're going to have to learn to deal with. And the only way to deal with that, Matt, is to get bigger as a school and get more guys, more football players. So, because I think we're always going to be competitive. We're always going to win. And so the days of Division 13, 12 are behind us. I don't think we'll ever go back. And so we got to figure this out. And to me, it presents a great challenge and a great opportunity. The whole CIF format, which is kind of weird, I don't know how else to say it, is maybe a discussion for another show. I don't know if you want to bring that up at all, but like we can go into that for a long time. But it is what it is, and so we gotta. To us as coaches and a school and as a program, it presents the great challenge. It's like we got to be able to withstand playing quality teams, which every week if we're going to make a run in the playoffs, and that's what we got to be able to do. And so we even went really light this week on the guys, but JG, who was phenomenal, 190 yards, I think, didn't really practice that much this week. And we had to just dial it all back just because the guys were so beat up, after the game. And so, but we got to figure it out. And so that's the great challenge that's ahead.
Rio Hondo will figure it out. They always have. And, when there was a transition from 6-man to 8-man, I'm sure there was challenges. 8-man, small school to 8-man large. There was challenges. Big jump was 8-man to 11-man. I mean, playing full games, that was a big deal because we had so many halftime blowouts and such. So there have been challenges that have been embraced by the football program. And it's such a fine line, Mark, because you want your program to play at the highest level, to take on some of the local big time programs like you did against Charter Oak. At the same time, knowing that week in and week out, football is a battle of attrition, and you're never going to give excuses for a small roster. Never. But yeah, that's the one area where football is so different. You want to compete against schools like you, but I think the bigger challenge, what Alumni also want, is to play those bigger schools like you guys have done recently.
Right. And the attrition element is really, you hit the nail on the head. Great word, great vocab there, Matt. That RHP education always shining through.
That's right.
And that's what CAF doesn't quite understand with this, is just the attrition of football. And you think they would, a lot of smart people down there, football people, but the attrition element, and we're running at the red line, man. And it's just like, it's so close to, you go over that red line and it's just, your body just can't operate at the same level that you want it to. And so, but like I said, it's something that we're going to have to deal with if we want to be good. We want to be talked about as a big time program. And if we do that, we have to get bigger. And so send us your kids, send us your kids, guys who want what we're all about and want to play good football.
I do hope that people who see this podcast or maybe have seen a football game at Rio, I've said it before, I'll say it again. You're not going to get a better high school experience than Rio Hondo Prep. You can, knock the small classroom size or whatever, but every alumni who's gone through the school, I would say most of them anyway, would agree that, hey, you know what, you would absolutely enjoy your time there. Mark, just to prove kind of that, good teams lose football games. Glendora, undefeated, went down last night, 17-15 to Apple Valley. So to fans out there, if you don't think the small things matter, just think of the last game you lost by a point or two, like Glendora did last night. That's football, Mark. Sometimes that's all we can say. Yeah,
and that was Apple Valley without their stud QB. So you really liked Glendora's chances. Their best player was Braden Bruss, was a KYL alum, as there are so many out there, and so we were rooting for them. And yeah, I hate to see them go down, but man, it was a tough week for the San Gabriel Valley in general.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, South Pasadena in Division 13 is rolling. So, but don't get me on that.
Yeah, I don't want to get on that either. I've talked to actually another coach in the city section who was talking to me about some of the things they got going over there. An 0-10 team in the playoffs in Division 3 there's all kinds of weird, stupid things going on. But to the great teams of the San Gabriel Valley, congrats on great seasons. Brandon Bruss, yeah, for sure. And, Glendora, got to love those uniforms for some reason. Something about that red, black, and white combination that looks all too familiar, Mark. Looks sharp.
Yeah, it is. Best. For my money, best color combo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hey, Mark, I got a few questions for you from some fans, a lot of similar faces. I'm not sure if our Facebook Live is working or not. We got some people watching, but no comments yet. But here are 2 questions written in from some alumni. Of course, our good man, Maynard Bajorquez. He says, a question for Mark. In the future, with an awesome football season and a future renovation project of the grounds of Rio Hondo Prep, is Rio considering increasing the number of students, or are we still limited to our current teacher and student ratio and space?
Okay, so yeah, we've done a few things. Great question, Maynard, to plan for expansion. So the answer is yes. And number 1, we moved 6th grade from the Rio campus to Pearl to open up more classroom space. And obviously the building of Stivers Center 7 years ago. The current campus renovation that's going on, that's just going to be really cool, really finish the campus. And Rio alums got to come down. It's going to be a beautiful entry plaza, which is, kind of been the only eyesore left on campus. And now there's going to be no eyesores. And so, yes. And people ask me, how big do you want to get? Right now, we're like at 165, 170. And I tell them 212. And they say, 212, where does that number come from? And I go, well, there's 212 book lockers built into the gym at Stivers outside. And so let's fill all those up. And then if we got more, we'll solve that problem when it comes. But yes, the plan is to get bigger. We're never going to be huge. That's not the goal, because I think if you get too big, you lose kind of the Rio experience that Matt was mentioning. But we know we want to get bigger and to do the things we want to do, not just in football, but across our sports landscape, boys and girls. We need more players and more kids who want to come and play. And we just think our outreach should do that, and we should grow. And so we're poised and positioned to do it, and we're ready. And the classroom instruction won't change. We'll bring in more teachers as needed to make sure the kids are getting, because that's why people are paying the money is to get the good education. So we're not going to sacrifice that.
Well, and I don't need to go into specific numbers. You can research it if you like, people out there. But for its price, it's quite a deal, I think, as far as private schools go in the area. When you look at tuitions of Pasadena Poly, Bishop Amat, Damien, rather affordable private school. And there's ways to earn money and such. I remember mowing lawns, all that kind of stuff as a kid. There's always opportunities for a young man, young woman to fundraise, we'll say, sell candy or something or other. There's a lot of options out there.
Yeah. And we never want finance to be, even though we are one of the, not the cheapest, but one of the, less expensive private schools. We never want finance to be an obstacle. Talked to Robert Morales, a good friend who went to Rio, and his son graduated from Rio in 2012 on that team. And we'll have lunch once or twice a year. And he always, one of the things he's been saying lately is, hey, we got to get like an alumni scholarship fund or something to help send kids to Rio who will be great fits at the school, but maybe can't afford it. And so different things we're kicking around like that to really just kind of build this into something. We've always been good, but we want to be great. We want to go from good to great. And so that's the goal.
Exciting stuff. Yeah. Mark, I'm excited again with where the podcast is going to go. I've already talked to fans about next year. I like my current format and everything, but I want to have a RHP football podcast with an official title that represents the program, a place that is only Rio Hondo Prep content. So I'm going to work on that here in the off season. I'm going to off season coach. I'm going to be working hard for you. I'll be ready come August. I promise you that. You know what?
Love it.
There is no off season, right? So we'll be talking RHP football again after today, probably sometime in the summer, building up to the season. And, you know, next year's only a few months away. If you look at it, you know, if you look at it from a head coaching standpoint. So,
right.
Good stuff. Here's another question for you, Mark, from John Lee. And, you know, John's always got great questions. He's such an astute theologian, I will say. Here's my man, John. Okay. As Christians, we are called to live lives of sacrifice. In football, as a coach, winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. As a coach, how do you balance that intensity to win with the greater desire to see these young men develop character to take into the rest of life? If you chase particular standards, results will follow. If you chase a particular result, you will most certainly compromise your standards. Congratulations on a solid year. Congratulations on a solid group of young men. That is more laud-worthy than any win.
Hey, that's a great point. And obviously, right, everyone wants to win, but our goal is to produce and come alongside parents who want what our school offers. And that's a great environment, great Christian environment, to John's point, to raise your sons and daughters. And the football is a big part of it. Sports are a big part of it. But the end goal is, you know, we're all going to adult life, right? Starting when you're 19 or 18, you leave Rio and you go. And so we want to see people being productive, contributing, members of their communities, wherever they end up, and just being lights wherever they go. And so I think this group exemplifies that. And I think you can have both, John. That's the answer. You know, I think you can do things right on the field, off the field. You can have high expectations for student behavior while they're here. We can have high expectations for their lives as they move forward. And we think we equip them for that. And the football program, our sports program, is a big part of doing that. And because there's certain lessons you can only talk so much. You got to have some practical application. And that's where the sports and the football and the team environment comes in, because as you move on through life, you're all part of different teams, right? Where you go, whether it's the workforce, you know, your job, your family, your community of friends, and being a team member, knowing how to do that is super important. And so a life skill you'll have. And then, just, you mentioned it, John, just the Christian worldview. And that's, we want to instill in our students as they leave here, and they can go out and represent that their whole life. And that's what's important.
Yeah, you know, you talk about being on teams, Mark. I think the best team, the best club, the best whatever you want to call it, is Rio Hondo Prep football. That is number one, being on that team, playing the sport. But, you know, I think probably the second best team, second best club member, a fraternity to be a part of is be an alumni of RHP football. And you know, they don't want to hear this, but I want to welcome the 2022 seniors. Welcome the 2022 class to the second best club out there. You get to be one of the old men now, watching kids you never met and cheering for them just because they wear the uniform you once wore.
Yep, it's a exclusive fraternity, and you get to wear that with pride, and it's cool. And I'm an alumni myself, right? And so you get to share in that, their wins, their losses, and you know what it feels like because you've been right there. And so it's special. And you have a community of people who are going to have your back the rest of your life. And that's something that's very unique. Most football teams, I think sports teams in high school, they'll have a great time and then they move on. But not at Rio. You have a great community behind you. The brotherhood lasts forever. And that's what's really cool about it.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what's been so fun with the podcast is just seeing that there was a hunger there. There was a desire for alumni to be more involved, to interact and hear content from the team. So I was just thrilled with how that all turned out. Mark, I can see almost anything in person. Having officiated a long time, I've seen a lot of injuries. I've seen, movies, some very violent scenes and stuff. I can watch almost anything, but one of the hardest things for me to see is RHP seniors singing the alma mater for the last time, at least in uniform, because there's never a last time. We always will sing it proudly. But man, the guys hanging their heads low and just seeing the raw emotion in their eyes, that gets to me every single time. And that's just difficult.
Yeah. It's kind of like you battle, and then the game ends and you go immediately to, man, this is it. It's over. And so it's hard, and it's you can't help but feel for those guys, especially the seniors, because there's no coming back, right? That's it. But I think they did a great job responding. We told them in the locker room afterwards, hey guys, we're all going to walk out here, take however much time you need, but we're going to walk out with our heads held high. And they did that. Saw some of the guys yesterday, and obviously they're bummed, but their spirits are good. And but yeah, that's a great point. And you would love to see it with you walk off the field your last game, you're either laughing or crying, and you hope former, but sometimes it's the latter, and but that's okay, and they're going to be fine.
Oh, absolutely. Big things ahead for most of them. I shouldn't say most of them, all of them in their adulthood, and just for them to get the experience to play Rio Hondo Prep football was something that they will hopefully cherish forever. And some guys, care a little bit more about their program moving forward. I'm a 36-year-old guy talking high school football, but
Yes.
what? I love it. Mark, this
Yep.
is the first time in a long time that I was invested in a season. So many times I've officiated football over the years, and this is the first time I was like invested week to week, not preparation wise or anything, but man, the emotions got to me even. I mean, I was just like, man, it's a roller coaster of emotions, football season.
Yeah, it's great, man. And I can already feel it in my body, just not being as, not on edge, but just on point with everything. It's like, man, it's weird that you're kind of you settle down a little bit. I'm not watching film today. I'm not, it's just like, okay. So yeah, it's definitely an intense time, and but it's so fun. It's so fun, and wouldn't trade it for anything.
Absolutely. Let me ask you, I didn't prepare you for this, but I kind of played the alma mater before the show today, and I've started it and ended it before with the alma mater, just the words. I'm sure people sometimes, maybe parents and fans, show up to the game and they're kind of like, they sing this song after the game. I don't know the words, but it's the alma mater. I mean, I know that you say it, I think, as a team, maybe team dinners. I think you guys recite it together, which I think is a great idea. But if you would, let's run through it real quick. What does the alma mater mean? What does it represent? Arm me with, a charge to keep I have, a God to glorify. Start with those words right there.
Yeah, man, you're putting me on the spot. But yeah, charge to keep, I think that represents, it was written by Charles Wesley, I believe, a 1700s composer, hymn writer, and a charge to keep. It's just, I think in totality, it's you're taking on a responsibility, and you're taking on a almost an oath to go play football, representing your school and the tradition behind the program, and you're taking that charge seriously in how you prepare and how you do it, representing your family, who's in the stands watching you, representing all those who have come before you, and most importantly, you're representing God. And it's said in the next line, a God to glorify. And that's a challenge we give to all our guys, is, hey, glorify God with how you play. And I think that's, something very unique. Yes, we have the brotherhood, but a lot of teams will say that, but hey, glorify God with how you play. And, if you're doing that, you're not going to chicken out of the hit. You're not going to go down without without fighting, and because that's your aim. And so, and then transitioning that, I don't know if you're going to go verse by verse, but just into life, and just taking what you do and how you live your life the same way. So I think that's the goal of the alma mater. And yeah, we recite it after team dinners, kind of to close everything, circle it up, embrace like a giant circle, and then end at that in our team dinners that way.
A never dying soul to save and fitted for the sky. That's kind of self-explanatory there. Obviously, we have souls that never die. And I also look at that as almost like
big goal. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. I look at that almost as a fighting spirit too, like a never say die attitude. So it's fun. I mean, we can do this next season when we really break it down. But I thought of the alma mater sometimes, being at a few games now, getting to sing it. And of course it's just like, oh yeah, what do those words mean as far as RHB football? This is the second verse now. Arm me with jealous care, as in thy sight to live. Obviously, as in thy sight to live, I understand, but what do you mean? Arm me with jealous care. That one is that is, of all the lyrics, that is one that kind of sticks out. Like, what exactly does that mean? You know?
Yeah. Again, I'm no theologian, but arm me with jealous care. It's cool that it has our nickname in there, care. And, we challenge our kids to, and we wear it on our jerseys, to care, right? So much of, I would think a modern teenager is characterized by the opposite. I don't care. Like, who cares, right? And we challenge them to think differently. Again, hold yourself to a higher standard, and to care about your relationship with God, to care about your relationship with your teammates, your classmates, your friends, and your family. And so it's something that we want them to, rather than going through a life of apathy and not caring about anything, to care. And so I don't know if that's exactly it, but that's in a nutshell kind of what we're teaching behind that.
Yeah, definitely. And then, oh, thy servant, Lord, prepare a strict account to give. A strict account to give, to me, is it really bookends the alma mater. A charge to keep I have, a strict account to give. I mean, you could almost take just those two phrases as a motto to live by, to play, to rally your football program around.
Yep. And that's what football, the program is all about. It's to teach young men how to live, and carry that with them, right? If it was just ended on the field on their last game, then it'd be kind of pointless. And so to even to John's question earlier, it's the big goal is to see everyone live how God wants us to live. And then, the big goal in the end for all of us, right, is to be able to reminisce about these football games together in glory in heaven, and talk about those great times. And so that's what it's all about.
Well, I love that the song is sung win or loss. A little harder to sing after losses, but still you sing it proudly, and it's something special. I remember, I think we tried to play it after a basketball, when I was in the pep band. We tried to play it like after a basketball game one time, when everyone was just walking around after the game. And one of the leaders was like, hey, no, like, that's a sacred song. If we're going to play that, we're all at attention. We're all there. And I was like, okay, well, maybe this is just reserved for football.
Yeah, it's cool. And I don't know who started it or how they came up with it, but you'll see some teams who will do a big cheer or some song and dance routine, which after you lose is just really silly, and no one feels like doing it. But ours is kind of somber, which is, it fits after you lose, but it fits after you win too, because it has everyone pause and kind of think about and really focus on what's important. And you get I think it gives the fans a chance to kind of thank the players, and it gives the players a chance to kind of thank the fans. And so haven't been in the stands to see it, for 20 years. I've been on the field, but I imagine it's pretty cool both ways. And I love just kind of scanning the crowd, and soaking that in, and just being able to kind of recognize the tremendous support we have, especially for a school our size. That Charter Oak game, we think, was one of the highest attended games in Rio history, a road game. And so, we filled their visitor bleacher, which was incredible, and then had standing room on the track and people on the field and stuff. And so that's another cool aspect of it. You get a chance to kind of thank the fans, and it ties everyone together. And I love hearing the voices from the fans, towards the player. And so I don't know who came up with it. I'm guessing it was Mr. Johnson and the crew back there back in the day, but it was brilliant, and it's just a super cool thing we do, and it'll never change.
No, absolutely not. It is a very cool thing that, who knows when it started. I got to talk to RHP historians here and figure that out. And maybe that'll be a big part of the opening episode of next season's podcast with the Rio Hondo Prep football. Just all those little things. Yeah, man, it is interesting. You scan the crowd, and you know what? There's two views. There's a view from the stands, from us civilians looking at players, which we did as kids, and then we do after our playing day. And then that view as a player, when you lined up looking at the stands and singing a song. And what's funny too is it brings high school young men, it calms them down a bit. It's like, you just won a huge football game or lost a big football game. And it's like, hey, you got to sing a song now. It's awkward, but I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, great point. And and it just kind of, we talk about the Rio family. I think it just kind of brings everybody in, and win or lose, you're having that final moment together. And so, yeah, it's cool.
So Mark, you mentioned earlier about a football banquet. Talk to me now about maybe that. Has that been going on a while? Kind of what is the next few days or weeks here as far as wrapping up the football season behind the scenes?
Yeah, so we'll have, we haven't picked a date. We'll find a date. And we've been doing that, I don't know, probably for a while, just kind of a in the season thing. And it's always kind of put on by the parents who want to do it, but just a chance to recognize the guys and all league certificates and show the highlight film, just kind of reminisce together. Cause it's 3.5, 4 months together. And that includes the parents, and you just want to kind of wrap it up. And so we'll do that. We'll find a date sometime probably in December and do that. Get Home Safe podcast will be invited for sure. Yeah, it's either at a restaurant or on campus in the gym, either way, but we'll do that. And then, as far as this week goes, we'll turn in the uniforms and inventory those, get everything packed up. And then it's the great thing about Rio, it's on to basketball. And, we have basketball games at the end of November. And so these guys, for teenagers especially, they don't get a lot of chance to sulk or pout around. They gotta, all right, let's move on and go. And so, but it'll go really light this week on the guys, especially our guys playing a lot who just bodies need to heal up. No serious injuries, thank goodness. And guys are healing up. Any injuries that we had during the season, everyone's going to be fine within a week or two. And so that's good to see.
Yeah, man, a football banquet. It's a great idea, a great way to kind of wrap up a season for sure. And Mark, wrapping up a season, I mean, you can't help but not really talk about the senior class of 2022. We've talked about them throughout this podcast, but an incredible special group of guys that really, to me, carried the torch of RHP football proudly the past, not just year, but a couple of years. And, you don't need to talk about every single one of them, but I want your thoughts on the class of 2022 that will no longer put on a RHP football uniform. Calvin Johnson, Damian Diaz, Jonathan Guerrero, Gio Ortega, just going down the thing here, Trevor Scott, I don't want to leave anybody off. Joaquin Aguilar, two more. Ray Montez, Jaden Sanchez, Paul Alena, Royal Young, Jason Heaton. That rounds out the senior class. I mean, what are your thoughts on the class of 2022?
A great group, a group that we'll remember forever, because, during the, a lot of schools, programs, football program struggled during the pandemic, and these guys stuck with it, even though there was so much uncertainty, right? We never stopped coming on campus, never. I think for the first maybe month or so, but after that, once the summer started, we had our guys come in, and it was important for them, we thought, to be with each other, and it was all outdoors and, all that what we had to do, but and with no guarantee of any playing at all. They were rewarded kind of during the pandemic spring, where we got to play 3 games. One of Rio's undefeated seasons, went 3-0, and but got to play Poly at the Rose Bowl, which was an amazing experience. And then followed up with a full regular season, 12-game season this year. And so they were just the glue that I think, kept our program going. And so a huge credit to them, because, a lot of schools just, they fell apart, and ours didn't. We got stronger during the pandemic. And so can't thank those guys enough for that. And just an incredible group between their freshman season as JVs and then sophomore, junior, senior season, when most of them were all playing varsity. They got to varsity as sophomores, most of them. They only lost 3 games, and that's incredible. And and so we didn't have a full season obviously last year, but I think last year's team is similar to this team. We were winning 9 or 10 regular season games and going to the playoffs, and so their win total would have been add 10 to whatever it is, and maybe one more loss, maybe, but to go through your whole high school career with 3 or 4 losses is just incredible. But they're even greater young men, saw several of them out coaching their Pac-12 care teams last night. And they're just great young men. And so the RHP community should be very proud of not only the football team, but what kind of young men Pearl, Care, Rio is producing at the end of all this. And so, and their parents should be extremely proud, like we all are.
Yeah. Mr. Guerrero posted something about Jonathan. Valerie Johnson posted something about Calvin. I mean, crazy to see the young guys in the little, first graders in those football uniforms where everything's too big, and then it goes so fast. And Mr. Guerrero had a great post about Jonathan. And I think I commented something like, what, of all the things Jonathan Guerrero was, I think that he answers that question that Rio often gets. Hey, what is a care? I think if you just pointed at Jonathan Guerrero, that would kind of sum up what a care is.
Great point. Yep. We don't have a mascot. Our students are the mascot, if you will, and they represent it. And so that's a great point. And Jonathan, can't say enough about that guy. And just what he's meant to our program, and just the sure determination that he showed. I mean, last or Friday night was amazing, but he's done that his whole career. Always underestimated, but always delivers, and without really having a full week of practice, going for 190 yards against a really good team was nothing short of just, ultra impressive.
Yeah, for sure. We got a comment from a good man, Fred Montablanco, here on the Facebook Live. He says, I pulled a hamstring watching how fast these kids were on the field. I love the tenacity of this team. Definitely one of the best teams I've seen pound for pound. I like that.
Love that. Yeah. And, it's again, reflection, but this team, in the old CIF format, our fans should know that this team is hanging another banner, and it's not to get again too much into that, but this is a championship level team for sure.
Bunch of honey badgers, Fred says. Honey badgers on this team.
Yep.
Mark, I think I kind of came to this realization last night thinking about it. Rio, we want to hang banners. We've hung 14 of them, right? And that's important. That's special. There's been a few runners-ups in there as well. But I almost feel like RHP football is now in this new era, and it's not where, hey, it's, hang a banner or else, all or nothing. It's not to say it's quite there yet, but or what, no longer will be there. But I almost feel like it has this like college football feel to it now, where you might not be able to control winning titles or not, but it's just kind of based off, hey, did you win 10 games this year? Hey, did you beat Pauly? Did you beat a local school? Did you win your bowl game or whatever, a playoff game? Yeah, so it kind of has that feel to it now for me anyway. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's different. But hey, Matt, we still want to win championships. And so we're going to figure it out. But yeah, it is different, but we're going to figure it out, and we're going to get it right. So yeah.
I know that, you know what, this may have been, Mark, the longest drought. I was thinking about that too. It's been the longest drought from a CIF championship that the Rios had. I think 82 to 90 was 8 years. That was probably the longest. It's been
right.
What, 9 years now? 10 years technically, I guess. 2012.
Yeah, and you're probably right. And that's, it's crazy when CIF went to this new format in, what was that, 2015, 2014, they really embraced it. Not every team's been a championship caliber team for sure, but I would say we've had multiple teams who in the old format were winning championships, and this year's team was for sure one of them. And so it's kind of too bad that way, to have such a great team and not finish it with the banner hanging from the rafters of Stivers. But like you said, it's a new era, and it's going to make us have to get better and bigger, really bigger. And so it's going to be the driving force to do that, which to me, it's a great challenge. And I look forward to that challenge. And that one, when we finally do win it, is going to be even sweeter because of that.
You're right. You're right about that. I mean, had we won an 11-man title our first year of going 8-man to 11-man, I don't think there would have been this changes needed to know, hey, we got to change some things and improve upon things. And so that's kind of where the program's at right now, even though to me, the program has developed and evolved into something even now that is something that so many of us are like, wow, I can't believe, where the program has gone. And it's just getting started, as you've constantly said, the weight room, some of the facilities, just everything, the RHP podcast, we're going to get going here. I mean, the coverage, we're just getting started, Mark. Snowball rolling into an avalanche.
That's right. You got it exactly right. Just getting started, baby. And just keep your support, keep the love coming in, Rio family, and we're not going to let you down.
I hate to talk about next year already, but that is just natural. Preparation wise, we know there's other sports. We know there's other sports going on, but take me through, if you will, Mark, briefly, your building up to next season. Do you start different types of conditioning while playing other sports? I know spring football, summer. Take us through kind of when your next season officially starts.
Yeah. So our guys, as far as training goes, they get great training by just playing other sports, and the agility that goes into that, the conditioning that goes into that. And we try to tailor everything, tailor our training, knowing that our guys are out there playing other sports. But the cross training element, we think, makes it so our guys are prepared for football to withstand the rigors of a football season. And we don't have a lot of injuries, despite, our guys playing a lot of football both ways and so forth. And we think that cross training from the other sports really helps. A broken collarbone is a broken collarbone, nothing you can do about that. But soft tissue injuries, hamstring, quad, whatever, we don't get those, and I think a lot of that is to the cross training they do with the other sports. That being said, we will have set weight room sessions for all our teams moving forward, and really building to the summer. It'll probably be twice a week during the other sports, realizing if you have a 4-game week with a tournament, you're probably not going to lift maybe that week, but normal week we will lift and train, and then building up to the summer where we have, lifting 4 or 5 days a week and getting after it, getting ready for the season. Making the schedule right is a big part of it. Getting that set up and planning big nights at Care Park, our road trips, all that's part of it. Getting our uniform stuff right, all that. And then, the media aspect, right, which we got to continue to grow. The podcast has been awesome. Spicing up our social media pages and all that, keeping that fresh is a part of it too nowadays, because the kids like that and look for that stuff.
Awesome. Mark, I have a caller calling in right now that has a voice message. Bill Ritter, of course. Mark, we have quite the following in Oregon. We got John Lee, Steve Almond, and Bill Ritter kind of
holding it down.
Yeah, holding down the state of Oregon for us. I have not heard this. Bill just sent this in right now. So let me see. Let me make sure you're still on audio. Yeah, stop share. Okay, good. Here is from the class of 2003, Bill Ritter.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Matt. Thanks for doing the show. Coach Carson, it's really cool you come on here and chat with Matt. And Matt, it's really cool that you keep this alive for alumni and the players having this press thing. I've already said that, though. Really proud of the team. Okay, those kids went out and played. Those were tough matchups for reals. Like that quarterback for Saint Pius, holy smokes, that guy could throw, that guy could run. That was a tough matchup. The only thing I could think of, I was hoping your corners would be a little more aggressive on those routes underneath. I don't think they really beat you over the top, but woulda, shoulda, coulda. Awesome season. Great job. Looking forward to next year. Looking forward to the basketball updates. Much love from up north. Congrats, Rio Hondo. Congrats. You know what I'm trying to say.
Thanks, Bill Ritter.
That was awesome. We don't like to rehash our defensive lapses there, but not even really lapses. We were really worried about them beating us over the top, and we instilled that in our corners because they beat everyone over the top. And it was really up to our overhang players, our linebackers, to get underneath. But yeah, it hurt when you get pressure on the QB, everyone's covered, then the guy comes back and the linebackers may be worrying about the QB running because he was their second leading rusher, which he didn't really do against us. We kind of kept him from running for yardage, but he ran to keep plays alive. And he's number 7, a special player and a really good talent for them. But I think, and we got to him once or twice, again, a few plays. It's a different night, but thanks, Bill. I'm hoping Matt will have some basketball players and coaches on moving forward. Maybe week, but every once in a while to update them.
Hey, it's a challenge to the other sports out there. If you make a playoff run or some newsworthy situations, I'll cover you. That's RHP softball, boys volleyball. I don't care. Let's be great, Rio Hondo Prep.
That's right.
Mark, I'm going to be joined by senior Paul Alena here upcoming. I haven't talked with Paul before, but one of the final seniors we're going to talk to here on the podcast. What are your thoughts on Paul? What can you tell me about one of your senior linemen?
The Apostle, that's his nickname. Great guy, and couldn't be happier for Paul and how he finished his senior season. He worked really hard in preparation, and not one of our stars, quote unquote, but he had just an amazing season, and it's really a tribute to him and his hard work. And I think he'll do a great job kind of wrapping everything up and encapsulating it. Really thoughtful guy, smart guy, and quiet, but yeah, you got to get him on, and he's just a character. He was famous for he got a couple flags this year thrown against our opposition just for faking flops, which is kind of funny. And I want to ask him about that. And that's something that he would actually practice it. The first couple of times he did it in practice, would be on a special teams play or some open field situation, and he would pretend like he gets hit, and he goes down and act like he's hurt. And the first time he did it, I thought he was really hurt. I'm like, oh man, he's on the ground like agonizing in pain. And he goes, no, I'm good. He pops up, I'm good, coach. I was just practicing for the game, getting a flag in the game. And so a character, the guys love him, and a really sweet person, and an awesome football player, two-way lineman for us.
Oh man, that is funny. I love high school boys nickname, the Apostle. Who gave him that one? That's hilarious.
How he thinks, I don't know where it came from. It might switch though, because he just got the part of Gaston coming up in Beauty and the Beast, so maybe that's going to be his new nickname. But the Beauty and the Beast production our drama is doing, he's got the part of Gaston. Phenomenal.
Only Rio Hondo Prep can you go from a man in the trenches to playing the main character of Beauty and the Beast with a. You're gonna be kidding me.
Only at Rio, man. Only at Rio.
Only at Rio. That's the thing I want to tell people, man. So much of this only at Rio. That is great. To the fans out there, everyone for tuning in today, and of course, who will listen to this in the week upcoming. I mean, Mark, this has just been so much fun. I know you got to go, but I don't want to let you go. I want you and I to just talk football for hours on hours and talk about the next opponent, but unfortunately there is not one, and all good things must come to an end eventually. And
in closing, I guess, first of all, Matt, thank you for all that you've done. And I know it's a passion of yours, but I know it takes time too. And time is our most valuable resource. And you give time and you never get it back. But the cool thing about what you do, you actually do get the time back, because you're cataloging these things, and people can go back and relive these moments and these seasons and these things. And that's just super special. And, I can't thank you enough for the work you've put in for that. So thank you, Matt. And in closing, to the Rio family, thank you for your support all season. And a lot, I can tell you the guys feel it and they love it. The love coming in from obviously the parents, the alumni, and just all the support. The guys feel it and they really appreciate it. And to our guys, there's a handful of moments in life that you never forget. And I think this season was one of those, and they're never going to forget it. The highs and the lows, they're going to look back when it's all done, and for sure it's going to conjure a host of great memories and a smile. And they aren't going to be able to look back and not smile thinking about it and all they went through together. And that's just incredible. And so thank you to everybody, and let's do it again in 2022.
Amen, Mark. Well said. Thank you for saying thank you. Of course, Dave Diaz, thank you for a great season. It's the beginning of great things to come. I think that's a great way to wrap up our conversation with Coach Mark Carson. You know what, Mark? This is the end. This is goodbye for now. But as you often say, and I will continue to say, we're just getting started.
That's right, Matt. Thank you.
Cannot wait. We'll be talking in the few short months. Mark, have a great Thanksgiving to your family. Merry Christmas to the Carson family. Love you all. So many memories with you guys. And yeah, man, let's turn the page and start anew next year.
That's right. Thank you, Matt. And yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas to everybody. And encourage everyone at Rio to come around. All the Rio family, come around. Everyone's welcome. And we always want to see alumni returning. And so let's keep this going, keep the vibe going, and keep it strong throughout the year and into next season. But thank you again.
Yes,
Very
sir. Yes, sir. A charge to keep. We'll talk not next week. Oh man, see, autopilot. We'll talk soon, my friend. Can't wait.
Right. Yeah.
Bye now, Mark.
All right.
Well, RHP family, very much appreciate Mark Carson coming on the show today and talking with me about the football program, talking about the team, of course, some specifics. And yeah, just tough to say goodbye to Mark there, to the football program. We're not quite done yet. We have some more Rio conversation here. We're going to be joined by Paul Alena, the apostle, as Mark said. So he's going to come on here shortly. Let's see here. Comment wise, Jessica Hannah had a comment about young man, Paul Alena. She says, after a short interaction with Paul during a senior photo shoot, my takeaway was he is so respectful and kind. I had to tell people about it because he impressed me so much. Well, thank you, Jessica, for those comments regarding our senior upcoming here on the show, Paul Alena. Yeah, I've watched him and, on the field, and, his interaction, his performance, and seems like a guy that is going to kind of willing to do anything to help the team, that type of guy. And so from the descriptions I've gotten about him too, it just seems to fit his, the profile. And, it is interesting, to Jessica's point that comes up, I think these guys having their helmets on, their uniforms on, you're kind of a different person on a football field. I will say, there's a lot of tenacity and toughness and just intensity that goes into playing football. But then when you remove the helmet, when you remove the shoulder pads, how you carry yourself in other moments of your life, I'm sure is what kind of takes you, on your life, takes you into your adulthood. And so very, very cool comment to hear from Jessica there. Jessica, of course, her brother Jaden Sanchez playing on the football team. I'm sure she's incredibly proud of his accomplishments throughout the season. I got to see my classmate, Becky Hetty from 2003. Saw her at the game on Friday night. Good seeing her. It's been a long time, and related to Jessica there. And so there to watch Jaden, I'm sure. But yeah, these young men, when you take the helmet off, you take the pads off, how you carry yourself outside of a football uniform is really what identifies you, and what shines your, how am I trying to say this? How your character really is revealed, because again, we are different people when we put on a football uniform. It's just the way things go. It's hard not to be. And I've heard that not just from Rio Hondo guys, but you even hear it at the highest levels, guys in the NFL. They wear, they don't take the physicality and the game with them off the field. There's a transition, you're one way on the field, you're another way off the field. So some guys are not. Some guys are just intense and crazy all the time. But to each his own. So thank you to all the fans who have written in here on the Facebook Live. And we've had a few kind of tuning in, tuning out. But again, this podcast will be out on Monday morning for you to listen to in its entirety. And I wasn't so sure about doing it live, Facebook Live here. I can't really pause it. So that's why you kind of got me rambling a little bit. But that is one downside to it. Maybe you can, and I just don't know, but I don't want to take away from those watching on Facebook Live. I have texted Paul Alena. I'm waiting to hear back from him. I told him 9:00. So we're a few minutes early, indeed. But to the RHP faithful out there, for those watching, what are your thoughts on this season? What are some things you want to say? If you do want to send in a voice message, you can still do that. I'll be here taking those. Let's see. Feed is down. Maybe that's why I'm not getting any interaction from people. The feed is down. Well, that ain't good. Like it's up on Facebook, but the video stopped. Guys, can't have that. Okay, Paul Alena just checked in. Okay, back on. Thank you, Bill Ritter. Thank you. You're my guy. You're my guy for my audio visual guy. Great voice message, by the way, Bill. Thank you for writing in for Coach Carson. We did just hear from Paul Alena, so he will be joining us shortly. Man, the technology thingy drives me nuts sometimes. But anyway, then things just randomly go in and out, kind of like Zoom. Like when you're talking on Zoom and you just have that like choppy voice. It's like, I didn't do anything. I didn't change anything. It just is different, I guess. So sometimes it's just having a hiccup or two. So Bill Ritter, thank you for tuning in and for sending in your message. Yeah, I encourage more people next season to send in your voice messages, like callers calling in. I got you. Yes, you do, Bill Ritter. You're the man, brother. It's so hard to believe it's been 18 years since we played football together, and basketball and baseball and all those things. But what was I trying to say as I wait for Paul here? The 2022 seniors, again, Paul's coming on here. You get another opportunity to hear from that class, but just an incredible group of guys, and they really carried the torch proudly with Rio Hondo Prep football. And I couldn't think of a better group of guys to go through the pandemic shortened season and then go through this year to play Charter Oak. And it really gave us a lot of hope. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I see kind of undersized guys or guys that, quote, aren't supposed to win, or just guys that excel, that play so well together, I feel like as an adult, even like, oh man, I can do anything. It inspires me, so I don't know if you guys have those same feelings and emotions, but I certainly have in watching Rio Hondo Prep. And as a reminder, next season, I hate to, talk about next season right now, but next season we will have a new podcast. It's going to be a new title. It'll have new Facebook pages, Instagram pages. It shouldn't be that much work, just changing the names of a few things. I'll still have the Get Home Safe podcast, of course, and where I kind of ramble about sports and things in the middle of the week, and then have my guests on Fridays. That's always fun conversations. So I'm looking forward to those. And right now I'm looking forward to this conversation with Paul Alena. He is in the waiting room. So let's bring him on. The Apostle, the senior, number 57 on the field for Rio Hondo Prep. It says Paul Alena. There he is, connecting to audio. How you doing, Paul? Good morning.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, Paul, I want to say, man, this is probably not easy talking right after, the season ends. You've had a few days now to let it soak in. I mean, what are your thoughts on kind of a great football season that unfortunately ended sooner than you guys wanted it to?
Yeah, I had a blast this season with my friends, with the rest of the seniors. And like you said, it's unfortunate that we had to end on this sad note, but I'm just happy that I got to have really good quality time in practice and team meals. And I'm even with the lower classmen, I feel like I even had really good friendships with them through this too. So I'm really happy. And even though we lost, got to keep your head up. So yeah.
Absolutely, Paul. Life goes on. Some guys don't want to hear that. I didn't want to hear that, of course, but life does go on, and it's crazy how it all kind of ends rather quickly. What was it like? I guess, when you're taking that uniform off for the last time, what kind of went through your mind just regarding your playing experience at Rio Hondo Prep?
I remembered the first time that I showed up to Rio. That's what went in my head, because we were in the locker room and my friend Joaquin were like, hey, remember when we first showed up freshman year? And I remember he had to leave early for some reason, and we were joking away, and we are like, oh, he was walking away from practice. And it was just, I remember that memory. It was funny. And I remember I wore a baseball hat to football practice, and all the guys joked at me for that. And so I remember just the beginning days in freshman year. And yeah.
4 short years soon slip away, as the Pin of Care song goes. I mean, did you feel that way? It was 4 years, but it seemed like so much faster than that.
Yeah, it definitely went by like a heartbeat. I heard people say, oh, it goes by quick, but I was like, are you serious with all this homework and everything? But it definitely went by quick. Definitely.
Oh, well said. Well, Paul, Coach Carson, I just talked to him, and he said your nickname is the Apostle Paul. Yep. Who came up with that? I think it's a great nickname.
That's all head coach. I mean, that's D-line coach AJ Corsini. That's his doing.
Of course, it's AJ. That's hilarious. AJ was 2 years younger than me, but had the privilege to play with him briefly when he was playing up as a sophomore. Just a credible guy, intense guy. Paul, you're a guy that played offensive line, defensive line. But while we're on the subject, what do you make of crazy AJ Corsini? He seems to always be shouting something.
He's definitely an interesting guy, and he gets the energy up before the game, and he gets us hyped, and he makes us laugh. So
that is really cool. What was it like, playing in the trenches both ways, offensive line, defensive line? You were always a guy to me that I saw you're very active out in the open field, pulling around the end or something, and just really taking it to the offense or defense, depending on which side you were on. What was it like for you to be both of those positions, offensive, defensive line? You must like the physicality of football.
It was a challenge to be in the trenches. It always is. And our running backs are really good, so they make my job really easy. But it's a challenge, but I like the challenge, being in the trenches, being an O-lineman. It's kind of like a dirty job. You don't get a lot of credit. So me and my friend Ray, Ray Montez were like, linemen are like AC units. You only realize when they're not working. And so we tell people that and they laugh. And but I'm happy to be an O lineman and definitely like have really good friendships with the other O linemen. So wouldn't
Oh,
take
man.
it any for any other position.
That is fantastic. Well said. Well said, Paul. You're a wise young man. That is hilarious. Had Ray on last week. He was a lot of fun to talk to. You guys lost Friday. The season ended. Your career ended. But talk to me about the week before, that huge win over Charter Oak and just the emotions of seeing that clock go to 0 and knew that you beat one of the area's best teams.
It was definitely a big deal, and as you can see, like all the people saw, we were really hyped, and I was thankful to God that we had that, because that was a big challenge, and they're a big school. They're known for their football program, so honestly, I was really proud of our whole team, of our coaches, and just we were living it out there after that. Like you said, after it turned 0, we were happy to go to the next round.
I've asked a few of your buddies on the senior class about their In-N-Out burger orders, because I know that, that's the post-game meal. Of course, the burger tastes better after a victory. So what is Paul Alena's go-to order at In-N-Out?
I kind of jump around sometimes, but after that game, I had just a number 1 McDouble with everything on it, and I had a vanilla shake, and I took a root beer and I mixed the two to make a root beer float, and that was pretty good.
My man, that is good stuff right there. Absolutely, yeah. Working the secret menu at In-N-Out. That's fantastic. Paul, you were a team captain, one of 4 captains: Damian Diaz, Jonathan Guerrero, and I believe, was it Gio?
Yep.
Yeah. So what was it like for you to first of all be elected captain? That's a credible honor, and then the responsibility of that to be one of the team leaders, and of course alongside your other seniors there. What was it like being a captain for this team?
It was it made me be like a leader. Like, I remember when we voted, and I was like, okay, like I saw people be like captains when I was a freshman, and I was like, okay, I'm one of them now. And so, you go out there to shake hands and like, okay, it's pretty cool. And the leadership, people like kind of look up to you, like they kind of follow your example, I guess. And of course, if people are getting out of hand on the field, you got to, cool them down. So it's cool having like a leadership like role on the team, and but also being a servant leader. Yeah, coach talks about that. So definitely a cool opportunity.
That is neat that you're listening so intently. Yes, being a leader, a big part of that is being a servant and leading by example. So when I watched you play, Paul, you're a guy that I think definitely exemplified that, and couldn't be prouder of you guys. The senior class, specifically the captains I just mentioned, but the entire senior class. I mean, what a special group of guys. You guys have been through a lot together, playing, up as sophomores, the short season last year, and then this crazy fast season this year. What has it meant to be a part of that great senior class of 2022?
It's been awesome. I mean, the guys really, I came in freshman year, and they really brought me in and were my friend. And at the time, I was kind of debating. I was like, should I go to Rio? Should I stay? Because I was homeschooling during the time, and my parents really encouraged me to go. So I went freshman year, and I've stayed ever since, and I've never regretted it. All the guys, all the brotherhood and love we have for one another, the brotherly love. Yeah, I wouldn't change it for anything.
A special group of guys. Well, I think you guys really represented what a care is. People ask, what's a care? I'll be like, well, if you look at the class of 2022, in my opinion, those are cares. You don't have to say much more than that. So thank you to you and your senior class for just carrying the torch, man. We're so proud of you guys. I know that Friday was a tough loss, but as you grow older, you will see that you kind of look back and you end up cheering for kids you never met before. I want to welcome you guys as 2020 seniors to the new club, to the Alumni Club. It's not quite as fun as playing, but it's second best. So did you feel kind of the great support from fans and alumni, and of course parents and family members?
Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of guys, and like you see the Leatherman jackets, you're like, wow, they really care about us. It's cool seeing them come out and support us. And after we won, they're getting hyped on us on the field, getting hyped with us. And it was definitely very nice of them to come out, and yeah, it's cool. Cool
That
to
is
see
the
them there.
plan, man, for RHP fans and moving forward and alumni, to come and support the boys. And you'll see over time that it's not as fun as playing, but it's second best, we'll say. So welcome to the alumni, Paul, even though you got a few more months here of schooling ahead of you. Paul, what are some future plans for you? I know you're still young, you got time, but what are you thinking after high school? What are some of your college interests and things maybe you want to plan on pursuing?
So my plan right now is to learn a trade. I really like working with my hands, and I like being productive. So either like electrical or woodworking, something where I can make something and be hands-on. And that's like my plan. Go to trade school, avoid all the homework and lectures. That's basically it. Yeah.
That's not a bad plan. I gotta tell you, that's good stuff. Yeah, it sounds like very offensive lineman type of guy, type of work, type of path. That is cool, man. Paul, I had the privilege to talk to Coach Armand on the podcast. I released it on Friday. If you haven't had a chance to listen to him, what did he mean to you guys, to the program? He was kind of an intern coach, but a tremendous love of God and loved you guys. What was it like having Coach Armand on the staff from Kazakhstan?
It was cool seeing like another person on the total other side of the world, and seeing him come here and be our friends, and of course be like the speeches he gave to us were amazing, and it was really cool just how he came out. He really, like I said, wanted to be our friends, and we really like had really good relationship with him, and we loved his energy he brought to the table. He was in the weight room cranking him out too, flexing on us sometimes, and definitely a cool guy.
No doubt about it. I got the opportunity to talk with him. Had never met him, and I was just blown away by the guy. I was like, man, these kids had the opportunity to listen to this guy daily. I mean, what a blessing. Paul, you've talked about homework and all those things. What did Mark say? Mark's, oh, you got a big play, a big casting, I should say, in the upcoming school play.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be Gaston in Beauty and the Beast. So that's gonna be a lot of
Nice.
fun. Looking
Gonna be
forward to that.
some singing involved.
Yep, a little bit of show my vocals, I guess. And definitely I'm looking forward to that.
So you don't seem to be like a villain type of guy, Paul. Just talking with you for a few minutes here. Are you ready for that role to be the bad guy?
I'm gonna try. And I think, I got home and stuff. My sister did theater, and we always joke around and mess around, and like we love, like we've seen Beauty and the Beast like countless times. So I'm ready for it, ready to be my inner villain and channel it.
That is fun, man. At Rio Hondo Prep, you do a lot of things, a lot of different subjects and sports, of course, and drama and all these different things. I've always argued, you're going to get a great experience at Rio Hondo Prep because you do so many different things. What are some other areas at Rio that you like participating in? You get the drama performance upcoming, maybe a favorite class, an instrument you play. What are some other things that you've done at Rio Hondo Prep that you've really enjoyed?
I really like the the science camps, like over breaks or that we do. It's cool to go up to Wrightwood and learn about whether it's astrology or biology or even survival camp. I'm really looking forward to that in December, and that's definitely one of the things that I've enjoyed the most. And also over quarantine, we had like this piano class with one of our teachers, Mr. Kirby, and that was really cool. That was the first time that I ever played an instrument, and that was a really cool class. That was probably one of my favorite classes, like in all my times here.
See, only at Rio Hondo Prep can you play football. You can be Gaston in the Beauty and the Beast. You can go to survival camp and learn to play the piano. I mean, so many different things. And for those that don't know, survival camp, basically go up to Wrightwood and you learn a few tricks of the trade, if you will, learn how to start a fire responsibly, of course, how to build a shelter. And yeah, there's I'll let you experience it, Paul, but for us alumni, that was quite a fun science camp, I will say. So I'm glad you're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Well, Paul Alena, this has been a pleasure talking with you, man. The apostle Good luck to everything in moving forward. Thank you for talking with me today. Briefly, I know it was tough after the loss, but man, thank you for your leadership on that team and for all of the senior class of 2022, man. You guys represented well, and we're incredibly proud of you guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Matt.
Take care, Paul. And we will be watching closely for the big Gaston performance.
All right.
Have a good one. Take care, Paul.
You too.
Oh man, what a great young man in Paul Alena. Perfect guy to kind of wrap up the season with. And it has been such a blessing, as I've said repeatedly, to talk about the RHP football program, but also to talk with these seniors, these young men that are just getting started in their life and kind of get to experience something like playing football together in high school. There's nothing like it. Even if you're not Rio Hondo Prep, playing high school football is special, but I think Rio Hondo Prep does it better than anyone out there as far as the behind the scenes stuff, doing more with less, not necessarily talent, but just numbers wise. And everything that goes into the football program, the team dinners, the conditioning before the season, the preparation, just everything that goes into Rio Hondo Prep football is special. And they produce amazing kids like Paul Alena, like Calvin Johnson, like Jonathan Guerrero, Gio Ortega, all of these guys, Ray Montez, Jaden Sand. I'm going to forget names. I don't want to name a few because I won't remember all of them, but all of these guys who have lived there 4 short years, wearing the Rio Hondo Prep uniform, and they still got basketball, they still got baseball, they got some drama and camps and things of that nature that they still get to experience. But of all the things Rio Hondo Prep does, I think Rio Hondo Prep football is probably the best thing they do, the best, most notable, most successful, most consistent thing that Rio Hondo Prep has done. And, me and other alumni, we've participated in a ton of choir performances and band shows and science camps. So we've done all those things too, but there is something incredibly special and just honorable, really, of playing Rio Hondo Prep football. So I hate saying goodbye because it means we're not going to get to talk Rio football next week. But we will talk Rio football again very soon, and it will be in the summer at some point. And it seems like a long way away right now, but as you just heard from a senior and a coach, that time does fly. The football season is the fastest 10, 11 weeks, whatever it is, of the year. Time just flies, and there's just buildup of school starting to, okay, the holidays are here, and somewhere in between there, you fit in a football season, and it goes so fast. To those parents out there of juniors and sophomores and freshmen, embrace every opportunity you can to just embrace every moment, because it does go fast. I mean, you look no further than the senior parents of this year who have all said it, that, man, time goes so fast, and it does. And as I grow older, I'm seeing that time is going faster and faster, and it's just crazy. And this season was a blast for me. First time in a long time I've gotten to kind of invest myself in a team, in a season. I watch the Rams, I watch USC, I watch teams on TV, but it's not the same as kind of pulling for your alma mater and seeing the kids kind of represent the Rio Hondo Prep logo, represent what a care is. And the challenge now is going to be to take those lessons out into life. And I got to say, guys, that I just want to welcome the senior class to the alumni side of things. You made us proud. And, 18 years from now, you'll be me, maybe not running a podcast, and probably not as probably a little skinnier than me and everything. But that's kind of what we all turn into, is these old men, like you've seen in, movies and such, talk in the small towns, talking about the high school football team. And that's what I think Rio Hondo Prep is, in a sense. It's a sense of community. We got guys in Oregon, we got guys in other countries talking about Rio football and their experiences. And that's what I want to continue to do. I actually heard from Mike Lau last night, who was from Taiwan. And he was talking about the 10x10 In-N-Out burger order that I talked about recently on a podcast. And he was like, yeah, the legend lives on. So good to hear from Mike Lau, a teammate from back in the day. Anyway, all good things must come to an end. This has been so much fun. To the Rio Hondo Prep family out there, thank you for making this an incredibly fun ride this season. It has been so much fun to dive back in, give back to the alma mater, and to just be a part of it, to be a part of something special. And moving forward, we're going to continue to do that. Can't wait for the new podcast that I might even premiere sometime in the spring here. Just really excited about it all. So we got some great support this year on the Get Home Safe podcast. We're going to just transition, keep the Get Home Safe podcast, but make a special podcast just for Rio Hondo Prep football. And if there happens to be some successful teams in other sports, well, we'll cover that as well. But for now, we'll go to a Tuesday, Friday format on the Get Home Safe podcast. No longer will we have the Monday Rio Hondo Prep football show. And hey, it's all good. It's all good. We look forward to next year. And as Mark said, we're just getting started. Thank you, fans. You've made this so much fun. I'm just a guy that talks into a microphone about what I see, and just blessed to be able to do this. So thank you to the fans, to the alumni, to the coaches, and definitely to the players, the senior class, and every kid on that team who has made this experience one that I will remember forever. So thank you to the class of 2022 and beyond. Welcome to the Alumni Club. And guys, as Mark said, we're just getting started. Rio Hondo Prep football is up and running, and we'll be back again very, very soon. We'll see you in the springtime, probably. Can't wait for that. But guys, until then, a charge to keep I have, a God to glorify, a never dying soul to save, and fit it for the sky. Arm me with jealous care, as in thy sight to live, and O thy servant, Lord, prepare a strict account to give.